Chapter 1. Introduction. The rare journey of 3 consecutive number 1 picks through NBA history. The number 1 overall pick has always been a symbol of high expectations, a franchise-altering talent. The player chosen first in the NBA draft is expected to change the course of a struggling team and become a star. However, the reality is that not every number 1 pick reaches their full potential. Injuries, poor team fits, or simply not being as dominant as expected can derail even the most hyped prospects. But every now and then, a rare occurrence happens, one that reshapes the NBA landscape. Over the last 3 drafts before 2024, the league witnessed something that had only happened once before in history. 3 consecutive number 1 picks that not only met expectations but have the potential to become Hall of Fame players. Cade Cunningham 2021, Paolo Banchero 2022, and Victor Wembanyama 2023 have each emerged as franchise cornerstones for the Detroit Pistons, Orlando Magic, and San Antonio Spurs, respectively. While their playing styles are vastly different, their impact on the game is undeniable. They've proven that their selections weren't just based on hype but on generational talent, and they're already showing signs of becoming the next superstars of the NBA. The weight of being a number 1 pick. Being selected first overall is both an honor and a burden. For every LeBron James, Tim Duncan, or Shaquille O'Neal, there's an Anthony Bennett or Quinn Brown players who, for various reasons, never lived up to their draft position. The pressure to succeed is immense, as the number 1 pick is expected to be the best player in their class. Even though many factors influence a player's career, historically, some number 1 picks have been incredible talents but were placed in tough situations, struggling to fulfill their potential due to bad team fits, injuries, or coaching instability. Others thrived immediately, proving they were truly generational talents. Cade, Paolo, and Victor all entered the NBA carrying this pressure, but unlike many before them, they've handled it exceptionally well. Each has embraced the role of a franchise player, shouldering the responsibility of leading young teams back to prominence. What makes this trio special? What separates these 3 from many other number 1 picks is their immediate impact. While many young players take years to develop, Cade, Paolo, and Wembanyama showed star potential almost instantly. Cade Cunningham was seen as the most polished prospect in his class, as 6'6" point guard with elite playmaking, scoring ability, and leadership skills. Despite injuries early in his career, he's emerged as a floor general capable of running an entire offense. Paolo Banchero brought an unusual mix of size, skill, and athleticism, making him a dominant force at just 19 years old. His rookie season proved he was ready for the NBA from day 1. Victor Wembanyama was unlike anything the league had seen before, at 7 feet 4 inches with guard-like skills, elite shot blocking, and smooth scoring ability. He was a one-of-a-kind prospect who had scouts labeling him the best since LeBron. What makes their journey even more special is that this type of back-to-back-to-back success with number 1 picks almost never happens. In fact, in the entire history of the NBA draft, the only other time 3 straight number 1 picks turned into Hall of Famers was 1982-1984 with James Worthy, Ralph Sampson, and Hakeem Olajuwon. That's how rare this moment in NBA history is. The only other time in history when 3 straight number 1 picks all became Hall of Famers. And discuss the rarity of such an achievement. By the end of this report, it will be clear just how special Cade Cunningham, Paolo Banchero, and Victor Wembanyama are, not just for their teams, but for the history of the NBA itself. Now, let's dive into the first of our 3 number 1 picks, Cade Cunningham. Chapter 2. Cade Cunningham's journey to number 1. Cade Cunningham's journey to number 1. Cade Cunningham's rise to becoming the number 1 overall pick in the 2021 NBA draft was no accident. His combination of size, skill, and leadership made him a can't-miss prospect, but his journey to the top was built on years of hard work, sacrifice, and a deep love for the game. From his early years in Texas to his dominant season at Oklahoma State, Cade always carried himself with the poise and confidence of a future NBA star. Early life and basketball beginnings. Cade Cunningham was born on September 25, 2001, in Arlington, Texas. He grew up in a basketball-loving household, with his older brother Cannon Cunningham playing a major role in his development. Cannon, who later played college basketball at SMU and became a coach, was one of Cade's biggest influences, constantly pushing him to improve his game. And like many top NBA prospects who started as scoring machines, Cade's early focus was on playmaking and leadership. Even as a kid, he had an advanced understanding of the game, preferring to get his teammates involved rather than just scoring for himself. He first made a name for himself while playing youth basketball in Texas, where he stood out for his size and versatility. By middle school, it was clear Cade was special. He played point guard, an unusual position for someone who was already taller than most of his peers. His ability to control the game, combined with his growing athleticism, set the foundation for his future success. High school dominance at Montverde Academy. By the time Cade entered high school, he had already become one of the most highly regarded prospects in the country. He initially attended Bowie High School in Arlington, Texas, but after 2 years, he made a life-changing decision, transferring to Montverde Academy in Florida. Montverde is one of the most prestigious high school basketball programs in the nation, having produced NBA stars like Ben Simmons, D'Angelo Russell, and R.J. Barrett. The move proved to be the perfect decision for Cade. During his senior season 2019-20, he led Montverde to a 25-0 record, widely considered one of the most dominant high school teams in history. His stats were an eye-popping 13.9 points, 6.4 assists, 4.2 rebounds per game, but that was because Montverde was loaded with future Division I and NBA talent. Cade played the role of a floor general, keeping everyone involved while taking over when necessary. By this point, he was the unquestioned #1 player in the country, earning Naismith Prep Player of the Year honors and cementing his status as the best high school player in his class. College decision and time at Oklahoma State. Despite receiving offers from powerhouse schools like Duke, Kentucky, and North Carolina, Cade made a surprising decision. He chose Oklahoma State. His decision was largely influenced by his brother, Cannon Cunningham, who had been hired as an assistant coach at OSU. The move allowed Cade to stay close to family while helping to elevate a program that wasn't traditionally known for landing top recruits. During the 2020-21 CA season, Cade showed exactly why he was considered the best prospect in the country. Playing against tough Big 12 competition, he averaged 20.1 points, 6.2 rebounds, and 3.5 assists per game, leading Oklahoma State to the NCAA tournament. Some of his biggest highlights included a 40-point explosion against Oklahoma in a double overtime thriller, proving he could take over a game when needed, game-winning shots and clutch performances, showing his maturity and ability to handle pressure, strong defensive play, demonstrating that he wasn't just an offensive weapon, but also a well-rounded, two-way player. Cade finished his freshman season as the Big 12 Player of the Year, a consensus first-team All-American, and the unquestioned top prospect in the 2021 NBA Draft, and becoming the Pistons franchise player. When the 2021 NBA Draft arrived, there was little debate about who would go first overall. The Detroit Pistons, who had won the draft lottery, selected Cade Cunningham with the #1 pick, officially making him the face of their rebuilding franchise. At his introductory press conference, Cade spoke with confidence about embracing the challenge of turning around the Pistons. "I want to be a guy that people can rally behind. I want to bring a winning culture back to Detroit." Detroit fans immediately embraced him, believing that he could be the player to lead the Pistons back to relevance after years of struggles. Early NBA career, injuries and growth. Cade's rookie season 2021-22 had a slow start due to an ankle injury, but once he got healthy, he showcased his immense potential. He finished the season averaging 17.4 points, 5.6 assists, and 5.5 rebounds per game, earning NBA All-Rookie First-Team honors. Some of his standout moments included a 34-point, 8-rebound, 8-assist game against the Denver Nuggets, proving he could go toe-to-toe with elite competition, becoming the first rookie since Michael Jordan to record 34-plus points, 8-plus rebounds, and 8 assists in a game, consistently improving his shooting and decision-making, showing that he was developing into an elite playmaker. Unfortunately, his sophomore season 2022-23 was cut short due to a stress fracture in his shin, limiting him to just 12 games. But instead of letting the setback define him, Cade used the time off to improve his body, refine his game, and prepare for a breakout season 2023-24 in his superstar emergence. Coming into the 2023-24 season, there were questions about whether Cade could bounce back from injury and live up to the hype. He answered those doubts emphatically. By the 2024-25 season, he was putting up elite numbers, 25.2 points, 9.4 assists, and 6.2 rebounds per game, making it clear that he was not just a future star, he was a superstar in the making. His leadership was on full display as he guided a young Pistons team through the rebuilding process. His efficiency improved significantly, shooting 85% from the free throw line and becoming a more reliable three-point shooter. His playmaking ability elevated his teammates, proving that he wasn't just a scorer but also a true floor general in the mold of great point guards like Luka Doncic and Jason Kidd. With Cade leading the way, Detroit was no longer just a rebuilding team, they were becoming a legitimate force in the Eastern Conference. Why Cade is special in his place in NBA history. What makes Cade Cunningham unique isn't just his numbers, it's his intangibles. poise, and leadership. Even at a young age, Cade has always played with maturity beyond his years. Versatility. At 6 feet 6 inches, he can play multiple positions, making him a nightmare matchup for defenders. Clutch ability. He has a knack for stepping up in big moments, something all great players possess. If he continues on this trajectory, Cade Cunningham could very well go down as one of the best point guards of his generation. But what makes his story even more fascinating is that he is just one of 3 consecutive number 1 picks who are on the same path. Now, we turn our attention to the second member of this historic trio, Paolo Banchero. Paolo Banchero's journey to number 1 in an era where basketball players are becoming more versatile and positionless. Paolo Banchero emerged as the prototype for the modern NBA forward. At 6 feet 10 inches and 250 pounds, he blends size, strength, agility, and skill in a way that few players before him have. From his early days in Seattle to his rise at Duke and eventually becoming the No. 1 overall pick in the 2020 NBA draft, Banchero's journey is a testament to talent, hard work, and the ability to. A family rooted in sports ball. Napoleon James Banchero was born on November 12, 2002, in Seattle, Washington. His athleticism wasn't just natural, it was in his DNA. His mother, Rhonda Smith Banchero, was a basketball star at the University of Washington and later played professionally in the WNBA and overseas. His father, Mario Banchero, played college football as a tight end at Washington. Growing up in a household filled with competitive sports, Paolo was exposed to both football and basketball. As a kid, he played quarterback in football and was highly regarded as an athlete before ultimately choosing basketball. By the time he was in elementary school, Banchero had already grown taller than most of his peers, which made him a natural fit for basketball. However, what set him apart was that he didn't just play like a big man, he had the ball-handling skills of a guard, something that would become a defining feature of his game. High school stardom. At O'Day, Banchero attended O'Day High School in Seattle, where he quickly established himself as one of the best players in the country. As a sophomore, he averaged 18.2 points and 10.3 rebounds per game, helping O'Day win the Class 3A state championship. By his junior year, he was considered a top 5 player in the nation and had already received offers from nearly every major college basketball program. During his senior season 2020-01, Banchero dominated the competition, averaging 20.6 points, 11.0 rebounds, and 3.7 assists per game, solidifying his status as a top-tier recruit. At 6 feet 10 inches with guard-like skills, he was often compared to LeBron James, Chris Webber, and Blake Griffin, big men who could dominate inside but also handle the ball and create plays. By the time he graduated, he was a 5-star recruit and ranked No. 2 in the country behind only Chet Holmgren. The stage was set for his college career, choosing Duke and thriving under the bright lights. When it came time to pick a college, Paolo shocked many by choosing Duke University over other elite programs like Kentucky, Gonzaga, and Washington. Joining coach Mike Krzyzewski in his final season at Duke, Banchero instantly became the focal point of the Blue Devils' offense. From his first game, he looked NBA ready, averaging 17.2 points, 7.8 rebounds, and 3.2 assists per game in his freshman season 2021-22. His highlights at Duke included a dominant 22-point debut against Kentucky, proving he was the real deal, a 28-point, 8-rebound performance in the NCAA tournament against Texas Tech, showing he could perform under pressure, leading Duke to the Final Four, marking a perfect ending to Coach K's legendary career. Throughout the season, scouts debated whether Banchero, Jabari Smith Jr., or Chet Holmgren should be the No. 1 pick in the 2020 NBA draft, but Banchero's ability to create his own shot, handle the ball, and dominate physically ultimately set him apart. Draft night shock, the Magic surprise No. 1 pick heading into the 2022 NBA draft. Most experts believed Jabari Smith Jr. would be selected first overall. The Orlando Magic, who had the No. 1 pick, kept their decision a secret until draft night. In a shocking turn of events, they selected Paolo Banchero No. 1 overall, believing he had the highest ceiling of any player in the draft. It was a last-minute decision even Paolo himself didn't know until minutes before his name was called. When asked about the moment, he said, "I didn't know until about 20 seconds before the commissioner walked out. I was super shocked, but I'm just so happy right now." Many analysts initially questioned the pick, but it didn't take long for Banchero to prove Orlando made the right choice. Rookie season, the best rookie since LeBron? From the moment he stepped on an NBA court, Banchero played like a seasoned veteran. In his NBA debut, he dropped 27 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists, becoming the first rookie since LeBron James to record 25-plus points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists in his debut. He finished his rookie season 2.0223 with averages of 20.0 points per game, most by a rookie since Luka Doncic, 6.9 rebounds per game, 3.7 assists per game. Some of his biggest highlights included scoring 30 points multiple times as a rookie, showing he could take over games, winning the 2023 NBA Rookie of the Year award, proving he was the best in his class, becoming the face of the Orlando Magic, leading a young team with playoff aspiration, 2023-24 in the making of his superstar. Paolo's sophomore season 2.03-4 saw him take another leap. His averages climbed to 23.5 points, 8.5 rebounds, and 4.3 assists per game, making him a first-time NBA All-Star. With his blend of size, skill, and versatility, he became one of the most unstoppable young forwards in the NBA, drawing comparisons to superstars like Jason Tatum, Carmelo Anthony, and even a young LeBron James. As Orlando continued to build around him, it became clear Banchero wasn't just a future All-Star, he was a future MVP candidate. The bigger picture, a special trio of No.1 picks. Paolo Banchero's rise to greatness isn't just about him, it's part of a historic trend. For the first time since 1982-84, we're witnessing 3 consecutive No.1 overall picks: Cade Cunningham in 2021, Paolo Banchero in 2022, and Victor Wembanyama in 2023, who all have the potential to be future Hall of Famers. Cade is the do-it-all point guard who controls the game. Paolo is the dominant forward who can score at all 3 levels. Victor is the 7 feet 4 inches unicorn who might change basketball forever. Now, we turn our attention to the most hyped No.1 pick since LeBron James, Victor Wembanyama. Chapter 4: Victor Wembanyama's journey to number 1. When it comes to NBA prospects, there are stars, superstars, and then there are generational talents, the ones who don't just change a franchise but alter the course of the sport itself. Victor Wembanyama, the 7 feet 4 French phenom, falls into that rarest of categories. By the time he entered the 2023 NBA draft, scouts had already labeled him the greatest basketball prospect since LeBron James in 2003. His combination of size, skill, fluidity, and defensive dominance made him a player unlike any the sport had ever seen. But before he became the No.1 overall pick, Wembanyama's story began in the basketball-rich culture of France, where he was molded into the unique player he is today. Early life: a family of elite athletes. Victor Wembanyama was born on January 4, 2004, in Le Chesnay, France, a suburb of Paris. Like Paolo Banchero, Victor was born into an athletic family. His mother, Elodie Di Fatro, was a former professional basketball player and later a youth basketball coach. His father, Felix Wembanyama, was a long jumper and track and field athlete with elite physical genetics. His older sister, Yves Wembanyama, also played professional basketball in France. Standing out was never a problem for Victor. By the time he was 10 years old, he was already over 6 feet tall but had the agility and coordination of a guard. His mother played a pivotal role in shaping his fundamentals, making sure he developed guard-like skills despite his height. The growth spurt that changed everything: as a young teenager, Wembanyama grew at an unprecedented rate, reaching 6'6" by the age of 12 and 7 feet 0 by 14. But what set him apart wasn't just his height, it was the way he moved. And like traditional big men, Wembanyama didn't play like a center. He had handle, passing vision, three-point range, and footwork that mirrored that of a shooting guard or small forward. By the time he was 15, European scouts were already calling him the most unique basketball prospect they had ever seen. He had the length of Rudy Gobert, the shooting touch of Kevin Durant, and the fluidity of Giannis Antetokounmpo. Dominating in France and becoming a global sensation, Wembanyama played for the youth team of Nantes 92, a professional club in France. Even as a teenager playing against grown men, he was blocking shots, draining threes, and running the fast break like a guard. In 2021, at just 17 years old, he played in the FIBA U19 Basketball World Cup, where he led France to the gold medal game against Team USA. Despite being the youngest player in the tournament, Wembanyama averaged 14 points, 7.4 rebounds, and 5.7 blocks per game. Blocked 8 shots against the USA in the gold medal game, outplayed Chet Holmgren, who would later be the No.2 pick in the 2022 NBA draft. After that tournament, the world took notice. NBA scouts were calling him a basketball alien. A move to Metropolitans 90 to end the LeBron-level hype. Instead of coming to the NCAA or the NBA G League, Wembanyama chose to play for Metropolitans 92 in the French LNB Pro League. This move allowed him to compete against top European professionals before entering the NBA. In his final season before the NBA draft 2022-23, He put up insane numbers for a 7 feet 4 inches teenager, 21.6 points per game, 10.4 rebounds per game, 3.0 blocks per game, 55% shooting from the field, 30% from T. His best performances included a 37.5 block, 4 3-pointer performance against the G League Ignite, where he faced off against Scoot Henderson, a triple-double with blocks, a rare feat even in the NBA.